In this video, we are going to run the Google Gemma open source model through Ollama to build a RAG application with memory capabilities. So we are going to use Chainlit as the framework and Langchain. So this application would allow users to upload PDF documents to chat with. So I've already made several videos on how you can chat with documents, but the differences are we are going to run the Gemma open source model through Ollama, and we are going to run it as well with the embeddings. All right. So Gemma is a family of lightweight open models developed by Google DeepMind and other Google team. So it inherits its technology from the renowned Gemini models, and they are features in two sizes. So we have the Gemma 2B and Gemma 7B, each with pre-trained and instruction-tuned variant. So we are going to as well use the Nomic-embed-text from Ollama as the embeddings. So it is a high-performing open embedding model with 8,192 token context window. So it claims to surpass the OpenAI text embedding as well as the text embedding 3 small performance on short and long context tags, which makes it great for embedding. All right, so we are going to dive into that. So we are going to use the 13 pages of mental health data. So we are going to actually feed this to the large language model, that is Gemma model, to ask questions related to the mental health. All right, so let's get into it. Right, so this is the architecture. So we are going to upload the PDF document, that is the mental health, and we are going to extract the text from the PDF, and we will split that into chunks. Right, so we have different chunks that we are going to split that. And for each of the chunks, we are going to convert that text to an embedding, right, so that it can be fed into the large language model. Okay, so when that is done, we are going to store that into the knowledge base so that we can retrieve our answers whenever the user asks questions. Okay, so when the user enters the questions or asks the question, it creates a similar embedding just like this one, and it tries to understand the question, and it finds similarities in the knowledge base that relates to the answers, and it ranks the results here, and it moves on to the large language model, in this case the Gemma open source model, to give it more refined answers, and that is passed back to the user. All right. Okay. So this is how it's going to look like. So I've already uploaded a PDF document. So you can, so when you upload a document, it gives you, this is just a display of an image. And we are going to ask a question that relates to a document. So I'm going to say, so let me say the consequences of stigma, right? So let me just copy this one. I'm going to say, what are the consequences of stigma? I'm going to hit enter. Right, so as you can see, here is the results. So the sequences of stigma are detrimental to individuals with mental illness and include increased feelings of shame, increased personal and social impairment. Right, so you can see the context. So this is the context, and this is where we actually ask the question. So you can clearly see that whatever outcome that was produced here can be found in this context. Right? For example, you can see stigmatization of the mentally ill is understood to be prejudicial. So you can see the context in here understood to be prejudicial to them. All right, so it also outputs some references. So where the context is referencing. So you can see the application. So you can see some references here, and you can see the sources right here. Source 2 and source 3. Okay, all right, awesome. So we're actually going to build this and we are going to do it step by step. All right, so let me get to the VS Code. All right, so before we get into this, if you've not subscribed to my channel, do well to hit the subscribe button. That really helps me a lot. All right, so let's get back to the VS Code. So I'm going to attach the link. I'm going to attach the document in my GitHub so you can get it from there. Okay, all right, so in here is the VS Code. So before we do that, let me pull this up and going to open a new terminal. Right, so I'm going to close this one. And we need to install the requirements. So I'm using Chainlit. I'm using the 1.0.200 version. And so we need to install Langchain, Langchain Community Pi PDF, and ChromaDB to get a vector store, and a Pi PDF to read the PDF document. All right, so we can do that by saying pip install our requirements and txt. So when you hit enter, it should install all these packages for you. Right. So I already have that installed, so I don't have to do that again. So I'm going to clean this up. And we get to the app.py. Right. So in here, we first import the Pi PDF2 to read the PDF document. And so from langchain.community, we import Ollama embedding. So we are going to actually run the embedding through Ollama, right? So we're going to use the Nomic-embed-text embedding, and we are going to use the recursive character text splitter to split the document, and we are going to import Chroma and to create a vector store. So conversational retrieval chain to create a chain, the chat Ollama to run the model, and the chat message history, the conversational buffer memory to store the history of the conversation, and import Chainlit CL. All right. So first we start from so this block of code here allows you to start the chat. So we have to read the PDF document. So this is the code to do that. So we say file is equal to none. We initialize the variable to store the document when they uploaded. So we iterate through so we create a files, that is the variable, and within that we want the content to be placed. So when we run the Chainlit application, we want to have a content like please upload a PDF file to begin, and the PDF file is the application, and the max size. So you can optionally limit the max size depending on your use cases, or increase that and the timeout to be 180. All right, so when we are done with that, we get the first uploaded file and we want to print the file to see the name for any issues or debug it. And we want to just place an image, right? So this is just to display, for example, this is what I'm talking about, right? This is just an image that you are going to see when you upload the document. All right, so we say image and it is the right here stored here. And you, so when it's uploaded, you inform the user that processing has started and you see that displayed here. Right, so let me quickly show you. All right, you can see here processing. So you can now ask question. All right, so the next thing is when we read the PDF file from the path. So dot path, read the PDF file, we iterate through that, we extract the text and we split the text into chunks. So we use the recursive character text splitter and we do a chunk size of 1200 and overlap of 50. All right, it's the overlap between chunks. All right, and we put that into a variable. We call that text. So we split that. Right, we split the text, the PDF text, and we want to get the metadata for each of the chunks. Right, so we put that into a variable called metadata, and we create a chroma vector store. So we use the Ollama embeddings and the Nomic-embed-text to create the embeddings. All right, so we are creating a vector store or a doc search to look for similarities or knowledge base. So any text that you put in, you want to get a similarity or any input or question that you ask, you want to get something that is similar to within the knowledge base or the vector store. All right. So for each of the texts, we create embeddings and we want to get the metadata. So we initialize the message history for the conversation. So we call it message history. We initialize the chat message history and we are creating the memory for the conversational context. All right, so we are using the conversation buffer memory to create the conversational context, the memory for the conversational context, and we are passing the chat history. The output is going to be the answer, and the chat history is equal to the message history right here. Right, and we want to return the message, so we do that to be true, and we create a chain that uses the chroma vector store. So we create a variable called chain, and we are saying we are passing the model that is the Gemma 7B. All right, so let me quickly walk you through how you can get that. All right, so within the Hugging Face, you should get access to it. So you have to be granted access to this model, which is pretty straightforward. Right, so there's going to be a prompt here. I've already accepted it, so you will not see that. So when you click on that, it's going to allow you access to all the models. All right, so let's get back to the VS Code. All right, so the chain type is going to be staff, and we going to retrieve the answers from the doc search. So as retrieve, and we pass the memory, and we pass the resource, return the source document. We want to return that as well. And we are saying let the user know that the system is ready. So you can now ask questions. All right, so it's been processing, and we store the chain in the user section. All right. So when we store that in the user session, then we are ready for messages. Okay. So we retrieve the chain from the user section using this code and we create a callbacks. All right. So that happened asynchronously, that is parallel. Okay. So it allows you to hook into various stages of the conversation. So now we are going to call the chain with the user's message content. All right. So we are going to pass the message content, the user, and we are going to add as well the callbacks. And we are going to get answer from here, right? The conversation content and the callbacks. The message content and callbacks, we want to get the answer and the source document. And of course, we initialize the list to store the text element, and we process with the source document. So if the source document is available, we are using this if statement, and we are going to iterate through the source document. And if they are source, we want to extract the content and we want to append that to the text element. All right. So if there's any source document within the context, we are going to extract the page content of that source document and we are going to add this to the text element. Okay. So we are going to add that reference. All right. Okay, so we add the source reference to the answer. We want to add the references as well using the if source names, else no sources found. All right, and we want to return the answer. All right, so that is straightforward. So what I'm going to do is let me save already. So when you run, we first have to, before we run that, we need to pull the model, that is the Gemma 7B, and we need to pull the text. We want to pull the embedding as well. We want to pull that. So they are all, we are going to use the Ollama. So we are going to say that, let me, to get Ollama on your system. I'm using Windows for this demonstration. So you go to ollama.com and you go to downloads. You can download here and you click on download. It's pretty straightforward to download and install. So once that is done, you go to your check here and you can see the icon showing the Ollama, means that it's been successfully installed and it's running. Say Ollama pool and the name, say Gemma 7B. So we want to pull that. All right, so the next, you want to pull Ollama pool. All right, so let me grab the name of the embedding model. So let me copy this one. I'm going to paste it here. Say hit. All right, so it's all set. So we are going to run the app. So we want to say Chainlit run I, and so let me hit enter. Let's see what happens. All right, so as you can see, we have the setup already. So I'm going to say browse. I'm going to use this document that is the mental health document. So I'm going to say enter so you can see the display of this image. Right, so let's go back to the document and we are going to ask a question. So I'm gonna, all right, so let me copy this one. And let me paste it here. Say, what is the what is the nature and extent of stigmatization in adult mental health? So now it's all right. So also here you can here will be the readme. So it's like a welcome page. And over here you can go to settings and you can expand the messages. You can hide the chain of thoughts if you want to see the execution processes. You can turn it on. You can do the dark mode. I already have that selected. And if you want to create a new chat, you can click here and create a new chat. So here is the response. So what is the nature and extent of stigmatization in adult mental illness? He's saying it describes the nature and extent of stigmatization in adult mental illness as follows. Factors influencing the stigmatizations, personal experience, media impact, belief about causation, social, cultural influences. All right, so let's see the conclusions. We have the conclusion here. The text emphasizes the need for interventions that target factual information and emotional reaction to people with mental illness. So let's look at the source. Right, so here are the source. That's the source one. Right, so we pick that from here. So you can see it's actually giving context from here. Okay, right. So let's see. Well, okay, this makes sense. Right, guys, this was all that I wanted to share. Um, Looking at Gemma, the Gemma 7B model. Right, so you can go on, ask several questions. So let me see in the comment section how you feel about this model and what responses you had. I hope you like this video. Do well to subscribe and hit the like button, and see you in the next one.